Good morning, I'm Jordan Holder and I would like to welcome you to Discover Your Future 2021. During the last 6 months, New Anglia Local Enterprise Partnership, Suffolk County Council and the Network for East Anglian Collaborative Outreach have created this virtual work inspiration project to support you to have a meaningful and exciting insight into the world of work via some fantastic local employers, allowing you to gain valuable skills to help you be more prepared and inspired by the world of work. Now, during the programme, you'll have an opportunity to tackle new challenges and activities that will enable you to build confidence, communication, and other key skills to support you in your future career. So, over the coming weeks, what can you expect from Discover Your Future 2021? We've created 5 themes that represent different aspects of working life that you're going to explore during the project with guidance from local employers. And during these sessions, you will develop the skills and qualities needed in the workplace. So the 5 themes are exploration, skills, enterprise, pathways, and resilience. And before I hand over to our keynote speaker, it would be remiss of me to not recognise just how challenging this year has been. All of us have had unique struggles that we've had to overcome, and I cannot begin to imagine just how stressful it's been for you as students to cope with the constant changes in your education during the last 12 months. But despite this, your resilience in carrying on shows your commitment to learning and bettering yourself, ready to take your first steps on what will be bright and successful futures. And also, speaking as a young person who studied and currently works in Suffolk, I cannot be more prouder of the community we have here and the support that they've given me during my early career. And I'm talking about bosses and clients and customers and colleagues that I've learned over the last few years, and just how brilliant the community here is across New Anglia. And I know firsthand the impact that a meaningful encounter with the world of work can have, and how it's enabled me to progress into the positions that I'm currently in. So my advice to you during these sessions is engage as much as possible, ask lots of questions, and learn from the amazing employers who have agreed to support with this programme over the coming weeks. Now, for every theme, we have partnered with some brilliant and inspiring leaders from across Norfolk and Suffolk as keynote speakers, and they're going to share their insights into the world of work and some of their experience. And our first keynote speaker is CJ Green, and CJ is the chair of New Anglia Local Enterprise Partnership. It's an organisation that works in Norfolk and Suffolk to boost the local economy and skills. She's also the co-founder of Bravegoose, a technology-driven HR business. And during her address, she will give you an insight into the world of work and how it's shifting, and also encouraging you to think more about your future career choices. So without further ado, CJ, over to you.
Thanks, Jordan, and good morning. It's great to see you, and thank you very much for a wonderful introduction. I will desperately try hard to be inspiring and all of these things that you introduced me as, so thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. So I'm going to share with you this morning, as Jordan introduced me, I'm co-founder of a startup tech company called Bravegoose. And in a previous life, I was also the CEO of a large business in the region with 27,000 employees. And as Jordan says, I'm also chairwoman of the New Anglia Local Enterprise Partnership, where our job is to make sure we're connecting business, government and education to drive economic growth in the region. So I wear quite a few different hats. But today I'm going to talk to you about careers and the future, and I will try very hard not to be too dull and preachy. And I'm going to share a few things with you that I've reflected on as I've had my careers. And when I'm asked to give speeches, I really like to have what are my 10 things? So I'm going to share my 10 things with you about exploration and future of careers. So my first of my 10 things is, in the future, it won't exist. We are existing right now in a technological revolution that fundamentally is altering the way we live, work, relate to one another, and it's on a scale and scope and complexity that we've not seen before. So it's unlike anything we as humankind have experienced. If you look back, the first industrial revolution used water and steam to mechanize production. The second used electric power for mass production, so huge shifts. The third revolution was using electronics and information technology to really automate production. And where we sit now in the fourth industrial revolution really builds on that third stage. So it's a digital revolution that's been occurring since the last century. And actually it's fusing technology and really blurring the lines between physical, digital and biological spheres. So the speed of the breakthroughs that we are experiencing now are like nothing we've ever seen before. So that does mean that jobs are shifting too, and sometimes jobs that exist right now today, in the future, when you're ready to kind of emerge into your careers, they might not exist. So I guess number two is like, let's try and choose futures that do exist. So if you think of things that are repetitive and easy to do, they tend to be the things that get automated. So if you're plotting your future path, consider whether it's the type of thing that will become automated. In studies undertaken by futurists, they've indicated that there are 3 areas where jobs will really continue to thrive. The first one is jobs that require genuine creativity. So artists, scientists, those who have to create innovative business strategy, those will continue to survive and thrive. The second area that futurists have identified is anything where there needs to be complex human interactions. So you think of medical professionals such as nurses who have a very caring interaction with humans on a very human level. Those are very difficult interactions to automate. So anything that develops strong links with people and having empathy, and those skills will become increasingly important in our futures. The third area that they predict is that any job that is highly unpredictable will survive in the future because it becomes really difficult to automate those. So it kind of goes without saying that a future that exists will be heavily dominated by science, technology, and people, the people skills. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk to you a little bit about what happens in our patch in the region. I know when I kind of was running the larger business and even running the startup, sometimes I'm absolutely surprised and wowed by some of the extraordinary stuff that happens in our region. So we are really big in the energy sector in this part of the country. What is particularly remarkable about what we have here is the sheer breadth and diversity of the energy sector. So we don't, in this region, we don't rely on a single source of power. There's a multiplicity of sources. So oil, gas, renewable energy, so particularly offshore and onshore wind, and nuclear all play a part in our thriving economy in this region. One really extraordinary young person, Jasmine Allen, became an energy skills, went on the energy skills program at East Coast College. And she was named Student of the Year for Engineering in 2019, and then became an apprentice with SSE Renewables as a wind turbine technician. I mean, those are things when I was kind of coming through school that weren't ever really kind of talked to us about, that was a possibility. And what a remarkable role to have as a young person. I would imagine it's quite exciting. There's another story about a guy called Jack Hurren. Felt completely unfulfilled in his career after graduating from university, decided to enroll on a transition to offshore course at East Coast College, and now he works at the Greater Gabbard Wind Farm, and he's now been offered a job by Scottish Power. So there are some really interesting things going on, roles in the energy sector, and I really encourage you to think about, actually, you know, we have such an extraordinary region in energy. Look about and see what's out there. There's some really large kind of construction sector roles in the region. So there is Morgan Sindall, which has a network of local offices across our region, delivering anything from special works and maintenance and repair to working on major landmark schemes as part of kind of the work that Morgan Sindall do. So there's some kind of exciting roles that you may not originally be thinking about. So I encourage you to explore what's going on in our patch. So, and Suffolk has a really diverse lot of businesses. So you'll be aware of employers such as BT, that's based in Martlesham. East of England Co-op and Adnams are all in our region, but some that you might not know of are some really exciting kind of software companies. Spark EV is based near Newmarket, and that company develops artificial intelligence-based journey prediction systems. Now that is a mouthful, but actually the journey prediction systems are set to become quite a big thing in our future. So having an awareness of that being something that really contributes to our regional economy is quite exciting. There's another company out of Martlesham called Fox Robotics, and they are an innovator in robotics technology, which solves problems in areas such as light manufacturing, aerospace, health, agriculture. So those kind of robotics AI technologies are really emerging in the region. There's TTV Racing in Ipswich, which is an engineering firm that produces components for motorsport clients. So BMW, Porsche, Caterham, Mercedes. I mean, it's incredible work to be involved in. And Treat are a company based in Bury St Edmunds, which manufactures flavours and fragrances that are in amongst lots of products that you will have in your homes and, you know, experience in your lunchtimes. So there is a real hidden trove of treasures in our region with some really exciting futures and roles. So exploration of what's in our patch is really interesting for you to get involved with. So coming back to what would I tell myself, my younger self, if I was going to go back and have a conversation about careers, I would say have courage. You know, that trying and experiencing different things, be prepared to feel the fear, but do it anyway, is something that will be extraordinarily useful as you explore your future. I read a really fantastic article once that said, fear of failure is a social fear. So imagine what you could achieve if no one was watching and there were no consequences. So have courage in what you want to do in your life and your world of work. And what you choose now isn't what you have to choose forever. I've already talked about how massive shifts that we're going through in terms of the fourth industrial revolution, but we're also going through huge transitions as businesses at the moment. As much as you have been kind of experiencing the world of education very differently, businesses are also figuring out what is this new world of work and how is it going to look? What are organizations going to be shaped like in the future? There's a real rise of a portfolio career. So this is where people have more than one career at the same time, which, you know, if you'd have spoken to me about that 10 years ago, I said, blows my mind. But I know a young person who is studying to be a doctor with the intention that when they achieve becoming a doctor, they will spend half the time being a doctor and the other half of their career will be in forestation and concentrating on conservation practices. And I think you get to make some really interesting choices now about how you want your world of work to look. So I don't think it's ever been more exciting. In the workplace, the biggest impact you can bring is your will. So the skills part of any job can be trained, but ask any employer, who would they rather have turn up? It's somebody with highly willed to do something and deliver versus kind of someone who's highly skilled but has no will to make it happen. So when we think about future careers, we sometimes can get a bit hung up on living our dream. And I'm not sure whether if you encountered a tax advisor, whether they would ever say at your age that what they dreamt of was to become a tax advisor in the future. But perhaps what they are recognizing is they're really good at being a tax advisor. So they enjoy what they do, but actually it gives them the opportunity to travel or be an artist in their spare time or spend holidays where they want to. So don't imagine that you will have your dream career the minute you start work. You don't have to have an Instagram-worthy career right off the bat. So I come on to talk about the career triangle. So in the career triangle, you have job satisfaction, lifestyle, and money. And those are the three things that make up the career triangle. You very rarely get one of those, all of those in balance. So job satisfaction is about the quality of what you're working on, the impact of your role, how much autonomy you have, how much you're learning, how proud you are of who you work for and what you do. lifestyle is about, you know, what you get to do with your time because you have that job. So your working hours, how much you're enjoying where you live. Do you get to control a little bit of your own schedule? And the third one, which everyone always focuses on most, but isn't actually the primary important thing in terms of happiness in your job, is money, which is like, how much are you paid? Do you get bonuses? And what does the future look like for you in terms of prospects from a money perspective? When you're thinking about what you want from your career, think about all areas of the triangle, not just one, because if you only focus on one, you'll feel imbalanced in the other areas. This is a really interesting one, particularly for those of you who are aspiring entrepreneurs. Before I became an entrepreneur and set up a HR tech business, I was an intrapreneur. So I deliberately chose an organization and built a career in a really fast growth business. And I wanted the environment to be very entrepreneurial because I knew one day I wanted to build my own business. So I chose businesses and organizations to work with that would build my skills over the years. And I rose up through the ranks of those businesses and became CEO of 27,000 people. And during that time of building my career to that point, I spent so much of that learning what skills I would need for the future that was ultimately my aspiration, which is to build a startup tech business. You don't have to have just one career. You get to evolve your working life, but gather skills and learn as you go so that you can learn how to innovate, you can learn how to kind of present to people, you can learn how to engage, and all of those skills will just set you in such good stead for your future. This one is probably, you know, my number one piece of advice I would have given myself is your tribe is your vibe. So the way you think, how you look at the world, how successful you will be is so much more reliant on the people you spend time with than you think. So there have actually been some studies done that you are 90% made up of those people you spend the most time with. So if you don't spend time with interesting, fascinating people who are pushing you and helping you learn, you probably aren't stretching yourself. And as you grow your career and push yourself out of your comfort zone, the time and connections you have will be who helps you grow. So always pay so much attention to who am I connecting with, who am I learning from, because that is one of the fundamental things to grow a really successful career. And the final thing, because I know there's always so much pressure, certainly at your ages and kind of on what is the future, what is your future going to be, what careers are you thinking about? It's important to remember it's not written yet. So you don't have to have all the answers about your future right now. What you need to do is kind of explore, think about things, get excited. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So you don't need to have all the answers, but what you need right now is curiosity. So explore what we have going on in the region. It's fascinating. Reach out to someone you don't know and ask them some questions, and they will be delighted to share their insights with you. Talk to people about their businesses. You will be uniquely impressive as a result. It has been a pleasure to spend some time with you this morning, and thank you very much.